Hello everybody. I thought I'd do a bit of a chatty video today and do a project in real time with you. Well, apart from the drawing, I might just, switch off in for those bits. But a few weeks ago, I did a video where I did a craft unboxing, and included in that was some of these Gansai Tambi, Kuretake's Gansai Tambi paints. I bought the 36 set and the Art Nouveau 24 set and I did think about, should I do a video where I was going to swatch them out, and in the end I decided that I wouldn't do that, that I would swatch them in my own time and have a play with the paints and things like that. Well, I haven't played with the Art Nouveau set. I have swatched them, but I haven't played with them yet. And I did, but I thought there's so many videos around swatching the Kuretake Gansai Tambis that if you really would like to see that, then I would go probably and watch one of those videos, because I didn't see the value of me doing it. I'm not a watercolour artist. I love watercolours. I'm really getting into my watercolours, and my thing this year is to experiment more with them. But I don't use them in the traditional sense of the word, so I can't compare. So anything I say about the products that I'm using, I don't ever like to say I'm reviewing anything, because I don't have enough knowledge of all the different products that are on the market and how these work, and the really important stuff like the pigment and the light fastness and all of those sorts of things. I am primarily a crafter and I love different mediums, but I use them in a craft way. So they are predominantly going to be for journaling, for card making, for things that I'm not going to sell. I do not sell my work. I make samples for companies sometimes for them to show their products, usually the stamps and stencils and dies, things like that. So any mediums I use are not meant for any permanency. They're not meant to, don't need to be really, really top quality. But I'm not saying that these are not top quality, but that's not my priority. My priority is colour, consistency and fun. So I also did mention that I was ordering and getting some cotton, 100% cotton paper books. Now I ordered this, I want to say Khadi, it's either Khadi or Khadi, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, Fat Book. Now the paper in this is 100% cotton. This was wrapped around the book. I decided to cut the main information off and stick it to the front of my book, because I do like to have the information. They're made in South India, they're handmade, they're made from, I think, recycled cotton t-shirts or something like that. I saw some people use these on YouTube, and it looked fun. It wasn't super duper expensive. I mean, it's still, fairly reasonably priced, but compared to a lot of the 100% cotton papers on the market, it was reasonably priced. And I like art journaling, so I like things to be in a book. I love the way this is bound. It's got a soft cover. The whole aesthetic of it pleases me. It is only 100 GSM, and I have had a play in this, which I'll show you in a second. And when you're using the watercolours in particular on it, on a lot of water, it does buckle a bit, but it does dry back out flat. And I have used quite a lot of stuff on one of these pages, which I will show you. I've decided I wanted to use this so that I can experiment with watercolours and have a really good play with them. It is a very thick book. It's got I'm not sure how many pages it's got. It's got a lot of pages. And because of that, I'm going to use it as more of a flat working book. A lot of my journals, I do put a lot of embellishments and ephemera, and I stamp and stick images in on foam and with 3D gel glue. But for this, I'm going to keep this flat because obviously it's going to be more tricky. I also did buy this one because I wanted something with thicker handmade paper. Now this is, I think, also made in India. This is Indigo Art Way. I bought this, I liked the, I do love a landscape journal. This one has got a lot thicker paper. I can't remember what it was. This may have been 300 GSM. And I've done a bit of a play in that one as well. And that does hold up really, really well. So what I have started doing in this journal is I have started doing some swatching. It's ready for some swatching. I don't understand this bit where you have 2 pages and you have another cover. Right, so I did swatch out all of the Art Nouveau paints, and I did swatch out all of the 36 set. I did have to go back onto that page, and I felt very arty doing this. This is my little mixing of a cool primary sort of colour wheel and a warm primary colour wheel, and then I had a little mix of the 3 primaries together to see what I got, and a little mix of purple and green to see what happened. But you know, that was just me playing around. But I did enjoy swatching out in here, and as you can see, it has dried pretty, you know, flat again. Now I then did have a little play with some of the paints from the 36 set, and I was having a try with, I was also playing with masking tape, so I used the Scotch repositionable tape, this one, that is probably no help to you whatsoever. Let me get an actual thing of it out so you can see the one I mean. This one, removable tape, which, because I wanted one that wouldn't tear the paper. Now I did find with this one the paint seeped under the where's my masking tape gone? So it seeped underneath the tape, so it wasn't ideal. So on the next page I masked with some normal masking tape. I'm not sure if it's low tack because it wasn't very sticky, or it might just be really old. I now can't find the one that I want to use today. So that's, oh there it is, I think it's fallen to the bottom. That was this one. So I think it's either masking tape that's got very old, or it may be a low tack masking tape. I'm not sure, but it came off really easily, it didn't tear the paper, and it didn't seep underneath. So I was having a little bit of a play around with that, but I thought I'd do something similar to this today on the next page with different colours. I had a little go with some acrylic paint over the top. I did use my Neocolour 2s, and that actually is, when you see this through the back, that is what came through. It was better when I used on the wet. These ones had started to dry when I started trying to put some marks in, and I wasn't overly keen. Then I've used some of my stamps over the top with Archival ink. I've used some paint pen. I found the dark blue is a Posca paint pen, and it was a thicker nib, and I found that the paper really was scratching up the pen and pulling the fibres out. So I probably wouldn't use those ones so much, but I did try the gold. This was a gold pen. This is a gold paint pen. I don't know, it may be an oil based one as opposed to and that went on here fine. Now what else did I use on here? I think that was it mostly. I was just having a little play around with some different products, and in here I was having another play, and I made this page. So this time I used the masking tape, and again it didn't tear it, it held the lines really quite nicely. When that bottom layer had dried, I did some more masking, then I used my stamps. I then stamped and then painted again over the top. I wanted to see how it layered up. So this colour is the same as this one, but that just shows you how, you know, you got that still some of that translucency. Then I was trying to apply it really, really thick, which I did here to get more of an opaque coverage. That's some of the gold in there. I used my Stabilo All pencil, and then I did some collage over the top. You might be able to see because I wanted to have that on there, but I wanted to still keep it really flat. So again, the gold pen I used on there, on my white Posca pen, which is one with a thinner nib, which is a 1M. That seemed to work okay. So the black and white with the thinner nib didn't seem to react as badly to the cotton paper as the thicker nib did. So I don't know if that makes a difference, but I'll try some different things with that. So let us get started. So I'm going to, I did do the inside of both of the sets as well. So that's the 36, and this is the Art Nouveau. So we'll use the Art Nouveau today because I haven't had a chance to do that one yet. Oh, just wanted to show you as well what I did. I'm a bit of a stickler for wanting to keep information that comes with things, but I didn't want the actual loose wrapping. So what I did was I cut anything that I thought, oh, I've just realised I stuck that upside down. Never mind. I keep anything important information, I stuck it on the back with some double-sided tape, just so, because I didn't want to spoil the pretty like front, but I didn't want to get rid of the information over, and I've done the same, I do believe, on this one. So, so this is the Art Nouveau. I'll put that lid there so I can I'll take that cover off of there, and let's find a new page. So I want to do similar to what I did before, but this time I'm going to be using the normal masking tape. So let's get the edge up. I have a feeling this may be low tack stencil tape, because it does not feel like, if you look, and when it goes down it doesn't stick as much as I think if it was a proper masking tape does. But that's fine, because I don't want it to really stick too much, and it seems that the paint doesn't go underneath it, so that's good. So I just want to make a nice, I want to try and make a nice edge. So I'm really getting into this idea of using my watercolours in a really abstract way, and I have found, and I will link her channel, I found a YouTuber, and she's called Denise Love. Lots of you might already know her, but she does really abstract work with her watercolours, and she also does a lot like with by mixing her media, and she does a lot where she masks off sections, but she doesn't do it so much inside a journal. She tends to do it on loose paper. So I'll link her in the description box below, along with all the products. Right, let's get some water. I'm going to put some water on first. Now, I am going to, before I get started, just activate the paint. You can see that it looks a bit dark on the screen, but I don't know which ones I'm going to use, so I'm just going to activate them all because I'm not too worried. I'm thinking I'm going to go blues and greens, because what I want to do is like a underwater sort of idea with it. So let's just get some going. I like doing this as well. This is really good for just getting some colours. So let's have a look. What have we got here? I'm thinking I want to try this shadow green, because it's not the sort of colour I would usually use. I think that would be a nice sea-ish colour. Now, I'm not worried about, you know, trying to get it transparent or trying to get it opaque. I just want to get colour down, and I'm going a bit sort of intuitively, as is the word. Right, let's put some sort of bits in it like this. So add a bit of darkness maybe around some areas. So yeah, I'm just going to work intuitively. I'm just going to wing it, as I would say, and just do whatever I feel. So let's get some of that colour, and that's a lovely colour. I like that colour. Right, let's go on to the next one. I'm just wondering if I should try putting some Neocolour in it now whilst it's still quite wet. I'm not worried if it does go underneath. See, I don't know if that's just soaking into, I feel that may have gone underneath. If it does, then so be it. Let's maybe, should we grab a Neocolour? Let's grab this. I think it's olive. Let's maybe just see what happens if we just. I'm not overly keen on leaving marks in it, actually. Let's just take it to the side and just. See, now that was when I was doing it from, if I do it through the side, I get more of just of the colour rather than making marks in it, which I don't really want. Let's see if I can put some colour over the top of that. Oh, that's very dark. Oh, things are pinging. I should have turned them off, shouldn't I? Because I'm not used to sort of making so many talky videos. Right, let's go with cobalt green. Let's see, we'll get a bit of cobalt. Ooh, I just love seeing the colours quite often. I'm not really that worried about the properties of the paint as such. I am more of a colour person. I'm going to leave that like that. So let's go with this one. I'm going to think I might drop some gold in as well in it. Should we go more of a bluey tone? Should we go cobalt turquoise light? Let's go with that one. So this is like, it's a bit like swatching. It's giant swatching. And these colours in the Art Nouveau are a lot more muted. The ones in the main set are much more sort of, I would say, your traditional sort of colours that you'd expect to find in a watercolour set. Let's put, I didn't do some extra ones of that, did I? Let's go. I just like how watercolour just loves to do its own thing and you don't exactly know what it's going to do. See what I mean about here? I don't know if you can see, that is starting to like lift up a bit, but once that dries out, that will even out a bit again. Oops, I think that probably is going to look, I don't think that's as good as the other one. So now, let's see, we can go with, oh, let's go with this, let's try this pea green, because that's quite different to the others. The green grey was rather nice actually as well. Wish I'd sort of done a bit with that, but we could maybe do a bit with that over the top or something. Ooh. Oh, it's because I was talking about it, I went in it, didn't I? Oh, I wasn't thinking. Let's mix them together. Let's see what happens when we mix pea green and green grey together. Ooh, let's get a bit of an ombre going on. Let's go back down to that one, go up that way. Happy accident, we'll just call that. Let's put some more bits of that in there. There we go. Right, let's get a bit of, oh, now if I want gold I'm going to have to go to the other set, aren't I? Because I've just realised there isn't gold in this one. Let's grab, oh, the only thing I would say about, oops, I'm sorry if that was you I've just whacked. But the only thing I would say about this set is they are quite big. You know, they are a little bit wieldy to try and have on your table. Let's get that one off of there. Come on, come on. There we go. Right, so let's get some gold. Now we've got, I like this gold, I have to admit. This is, I think I'll put the tray underneath, and this is just gold as opposed to the other one, which is bluish gold. Let's get some more water in here. Just spread some of this gold around. Add some little bits of it. Add some water. Spread it around. I am really soaking this paper now, and as I said, it is 100 GSM, so it's, you know, fairly, I don't know what that would be in pounds, I have to admit, but it's not a very thick paper. I accidentally put a bit of that in there. Let that settle in there. Ooh, maybe I should have gone with the other gold for this bit. Let's go with the other gold, because it's the bluish gold, so that might. I do have to say, one of the things I really do like about these paints is the size and being able to get a big brush in there. It just makes you a lot freer. Wet that a bit more. Let's go with back to this one for this one. I think that will go better with that one. Right, and then when I've done this, it is going to have to dry, so I will switch you off and come back once it has dried. I'm just wondering whether to I want to try and just add some. I'm going with the same colour in all of them, but there we go, just a few marks in there. Go over that one that I didn't like. Oh, I'm preferring it when you do it with the side of the Neocolour. So there we go, we will leave that to dry and see what it looks like when it's all done. Okay, so I have to admit I did give it a little bit of a helping hand with my heat tool. I've switched back into my Art Nouveau. But this is more, it's not totally dry, but it's more or less dry. And actually, I thought it had gone underneath. It hadn't. So even though this is a really low tack tape, it has actually worked pretty well. I'm quite happy with that. So let me lift that so you can see. It's a very abstract sort of things going on there in a minute. What I want to do is I want to see how my my Inktense pencils work over the top of this. So I'm going to go with, we'll go with sea blue because I'm sort of going for a under the water theme. So these are Derwent Inktense, and I'm going to use one of my own stencil designs, which is this one, which is Bubbles with clever prints. And I love, this is one of my favourite ever stencils that I've designed. So I'm going to do some of these. I think these big, I never know what to sort of like the scale type. So I'm going to just use it as an actual stencil for the moment with some of these, and then I'm going to use the paint to colour them in. But because it is an Inktense pencil, it is water soluble, but it isn't ink, so it will dry permanently once it's dry. So I'm not sure how much of it will sort of come out of there, but when I add in the paint, but it should sort of get a mixture of the paint and some of the ink. I'm just sort of picking and choosing. I tend to do this with stencils. I don't always use them exactly as they've been designed. Just pick and choose the bits you want, draw around the bits you want. I think, you know, I want another sort of little one in here, I think. And I'm wanting it to go partially inside the painted areas and partially on the white areas, so I get a nice sort of variation there. So let's pop that down. Let's get my water. Let's go with, let's go with maybe greyish blue, and we'll, oops, let's get a bit more water going on there. Of course, it's started to dry where it was. Oh, that goes quite nicely with that. And you do seem to be able to go nicely over. What I think I need to do is maybe give that a bit of a spread. Goes nicely over each other. You can layer the Gansai Tambi over each other, I find. There we go. So that might bleed out a little bit, that pencil, but I'm not too worried. It's going to look different. So now you can definitely see where it's gone over the top of the first layer, and then where it's over the white there, it's given it a different look. Let's do some of them in different colours. So we'll do some in blue. What was this colour again? Greyish blue. Sorry, I'm having to lean over to get to the water pot. Do that one. Let's do this one, I think. Let's do this one a little bit lighter. I like about this that you can still see, if you want to do it light, you get more of a watercolour type that translucency, so I can still see the gold through that one, but there is a much darker. Right, let's go with, what shall we do? What was this one? This one is ivy green, or shall we go the green grey, because we didn't do that properly. Let's go a bit of green grey. Let's have it a bit thicker than that. I like that colour, that's nice. So like I said, this is a much more muted palette than the other one. There's some absolutely stunning colours as well. I feel like this book is going to be like me creating a swatch with abstract art, which I quite like the idea of. So rather than just, you know, straightforward swatches. And again, like you can see, I like how it layers up and you get different sort of tones coming through because of that. Let's get a bit of water on there. Really should have reactivated these. They do, I mean, I think they activate fairly well just with a wet brush. Depends what you want from them, doesn't it, really? Let's go with this one down here over the top of the green. Like I say, the colours change depending on what colour you're putting them over the top of. So for one more colour, let's go with, we didn't use the pale aqua, did we? I had to use the, even though that looks quite pale. Oh yeah, this is very pale, isn't it? Let's go with, this is more of a pastel-y type blue, I would have said. Actually, yeah, because it's a little bit more opaque there, I think. When it's going directly onto the white of the paper. It's not pure white. It's slightly off white. It's more of a cream. I'm going to guess that's because it's made of recycled. I think t-shirts, rags, recycled rags, those sorts of things. So there we go. So you can see where I've got. If I go on here, you can see where. Do like how you can with your Inktense and your Stabilo, all things like that, you can sort of water out your lines like that. Oh, I really rather do like that. Let us do some more of that. And this is what I don't intend to use my paints just to paint pictures with. I want to use them with all the other products I have. So I want to use them with my pencils, with my paints, with my acrylic paints, with my inks, with my stencils, with my stamps. Sometimes probably die cuts, but maybe not so much die cuts because that's then again adding bulk into things. Oh, I love that. I love how that works like that. Oh, right. Get a bit more. I can do this on all of them, that's it. But they all just work together. I mean, I know with you, it's just being aware when you're sort of going more down a more mixed media sort of route. It's just being aware of what reacts with water, what doesn't, because that's what's, you know, like if I go over the Gansai Tambis, they are water reactive, so they will react again. And the paper is starting to pill a little bit there, but because it's inside this journal, this is going to be my sort of play journal, if you like, with the watercolours and things. I'm not too worried. It's you know, it's just what it is. Once it dries, you don't notice as much anyway. So you can sort of keep pulling that inkiness out. Now once that ink dries, that will be permanently fixed. You won't be able to move that. And I know I liked the white that I'd left, but even where I'm pulling out the colour, because it's ink and it's not as, you know, opaque as an acrylic paint or anything like that, it's not going to, it's still showing that white underneath is the words I'm trying to force out of my mouth, but very badly. And let's just have a little bit more here. And then let's maybe add some more stencils with some acrylics as well. I was getting, my aim for this year, as well as just is to get more, to have more fun with things like watercolours, to, you know, to play around with them and see what I can do with everything else I own. But also, as well as using these new things, my other aim is to actually use more of the things that I've already got. Some things like the Neocolour 2s, which I want to sort of start using them with these other things. But also, yesterday was going through some of a drawer that I've got loads of old ink sprays in and stuff. And my acrylic inks were in there. My FW, I don't know, what is it? I don't know who FW, is it De La Rowney? I think they're De La Rowney. But I've got a few of those, not many. I've got the primary colours. I've got a red, a blue and a yellow, and then I've got like a pearly white. And I have got a ton of aquatint inks, watercolour, you know, water reactive ones from Spectrum Noir, and I just haven't really used them. So I've got a few of those now in the drawer in front of me, so that with the basics, as in like black. I've got black, grey, white, gold and silver in the drawers, so that I try to remember to use them. But my aim is that I am going to really try to use more of the things that I already have as well. I know that that's a sort of a bit of a theme when you start a new year. People do tend to do more of that. So that's actually quite dark on there, but never mind. I'm going to be doing some stamping on here, so it will take it over a little bit. Now I've got another stencil. Where's it gone? This one, which is called Totally Textured, another one of mine. So on here I've got some little circles, so I want to sort of put some little circles on. I am actually going to just give it, this is probably also not something I should be doing watercolours, but it's something that I do. I'm going to just dry it off a little bit with the heat tool, and I've got some Dyna, or I never know what to quite call them, Dyna. They're iridescent acrylic paints from Pebby. I bought these when they were on sale, I think, in a craft shop. I bought this one, I bought a pink one, and I bought this one, which somehow seemed to have got covered in absolutely every other paint colour I've got. So this one's a blue black, and this one's a blue green. I'm debating now. I don't know whether, I think I might go a bit darker for this one. So let's just see. Let me put my paintbrush back over there. I'm going to put it on a little block just so I can keep it out of the way. Just put a little bit on there. Come on, here you come. And I'll get one of my stencil brushes. My stipple brushes, I should say. Let's do some. I should have got a smaller one. Ooh, small, quite a lot of black in that. I was thinking it was going to be more of a, like an indigo, but maybe not. Let's then take some of the and just stipple some acrylic paint on here as well. And I'm just avoiding sort of areas I don't want to go in. Ooh, I like that. I realise I'm sort of going a lot around the middle, but I'm quite liking that idea. It's sort of just going where it wants to go, this page, I think. Let's give it a little swirl. Sometimes once the paint's been stippled on a bit, you can get away with a little bit of swirling. Not to start with usually. Let's go down here. Let's go. Now a lot of the paint's now out of the brush, so I don't have to worry that I'm going to be putting too much underneath the stencil. Oh yes, I like that. Let's turn it up the other way this time. Let's go up here. I sometimes find that if you're not liking something and then you pop a bit of stenciling over the top, it just pulls it together a bit more. See, I'm not I'm not overly keen on the darkness of those lines in the sort of the more the scaly bit, but I'm thinking that once I maybe outline some stamping the squares, it may take away from that starkness of that, especially if I go with a dark blue rather than a black, and then I can make it sort of matching. I'm going to put my stencil there. Normally I would say put your stencil straight into water if you've had paint on it, but because I'm going to put that in there as well, because I've do you know what, I've forgotten what I was saying. Because I know I can clean it off afterwards, so I don't need to worry. Now I'm going to go with some Archival ink. I'm going to go with Faded Jeans. Perhaps, we'll see. If not, it might be Cobalt. And I'm going to use from my Make a Mark stamp set. Oh, I'm going to use the same stamp I used on the previous page that I did, which is this one here, because it's quite a nice size for just getting round sort of the edges of those squares. Let me find a block. That's a bit of a big block. Let's go with a circle. And let's see if we can start. Now, I may have to, well, I'm just going to hope it's quite dry, that it's dry enough. So let's just hope. Let's go through with a bit of this. Let's see. Yeah. Now I'm not trying to get exact because the lines weren't exact to start with, so you know, I'm not worried if it's not perfect. I'm happy with not perfect. I just want to outline these a bit. I may have to go around with a darker colour just inside, just to take away from the starkness of that stenciling. Right, let's go there. If it doesn't all join up, it's fine. I'm not going to, if it's here, I'm just going to go to there, leave that one. So you probably won't be able to see that bit in me inking that up there. So I'm making sure I keep my stamp flat when I ink up, and then I'm tapping all over, and then I'm make sure I press firmly, don't let go of the block, onto the area I want it to be. Let's do it the other way around for this one. So it's not always going to join exactly up, but it's not meant to be like a full frame on each one, because I can't, you know, be certain that they'll fit, because I haven't sort of designed it to be exact. Let's get it there. I'm just thinking, actually, no. Wondering whether I think I just need to go with a darker paint and do a deeper coverage, don't I? Let's just do the end of that and just try and do that there. That's it. So where the elements are sort of overlapping the squares, or the rectangles I should say, they're not really squares, are they? Then I'm not sort of stamping there, I'm just allowing them to be the top part of that. So let's just go like that. I'll go over those ones a bit, because they need probably to be gone over there. I wonder whether I should just go with the acrylic over the tops of those and see what that's like. A little bit there. Let's just get an end and go like that there. And there we go. So let me lift that up. Now, yeah, the thing that is really not making me happy are these here. So I feel that I am going to have to go over them again. Let's get a dark. Which shall we go with? Shall we go with go with green grey and see if we can really have I gone with the right colour? No. Darken them out and let's go a bit over those lines. This is the thing with any kind of crafting or art. You just adapt as you go. If you don't like it, change it. Oh dear, that's now seeping out a bit, isn't it? But I know what I might do. Let's block that off and see. What I'm thinking actually is, rather than filling them in, when that's dried, if I get something like my white Posca pen, now you shouldn't do this while it's wet, you should wait for it to be dried, but what I'm thinking is then to go and dot around the edges to take that darkness away. Or I could just stick something right over the centre. Well, no, I don't think I'll do that. If I go wash, no, I'm going to leave it alone. I love the little spots and I like the stamping around there. I'm going to get my other stamp and I'm going to do some circles, I think, around in here to add into this. Let's do these with black, and actually if I do it in black it might take away then from the darkness of those if I do so. I've got this stamp from the Maker Mark as well. This time I'm going to use black, and I am using Archival ink because Archival ink is a permanent ink. It's a sort of hybrid, we think, we're not sure, between an oil and a possibly some alcohol in them, I'm not sure, but it goes on lots of different surfaces. So it is ideal in art journaling because it goes over so many different things, and it's permanent once it's dry. So if you then want to work over the top with your water-based products, it's not going to move, the lines are not going to move. So let's just give this a few different. There. And as I'm working, I'm just sort of looking and thinking, where does it look like it needs another one? It's sometimes quite handy when you've got a little screen on a camera or on a tablet or something. It gives you quite a good idea. Let's just do one bit there and one there. I like them going off the edges, so that's, I think, more than enough. Well, let's go with a perhaps go with the pea green. And again, I like the fact you can see where there is the acrylic paint underneath. That will come through. Ooh, look now, if I go over that, look, that's moving those lines. So that's changing the colour of that. So I quite like that. It's lightening the lines in there. So let's go over then again. That's quite nice. Quite like how that's done that. So again here, this should probably have the same effect on that one. And hopefully what happens then is that brings the circles of them coming to the foreground, and it will push them back a little bit. So it might actually help with making those less prominent. The darker the colours you use, so where I've used black for stamping, that will then sort of help them to come forward. So now they are the prominent sort of element in the on the page, not the stenciling. I don't know how long I've been doing this for, but at the end of the day, it takes as long as it takes. I'm just still not overly happy with them other bits. I'm just trying to think of how I'm going to change them. I like these. I like the circles. I like the green in the circles. A bit more paint on there. Let me then think. They're still standing out too much for my liking. Unless maybe put my brush on there. Let's give this a zap, and I'll come back when it's properly dry and we'll see what we can do. Okay, so I've given it a much more of a dry. Now you can see that when it's drying out, that buckling sort of really flattens again, but using Neocolours, using pencils, that is actually what is coming through the other side, not the watercolour but the other products. But you know, that's fine because I'm probably going to mostly use the right hand side. So I've got my Posca white and my Posca black pens. They're both the PC1M 0.7mm bullet shaped nibs, and I'm thinking that I will go over where the pencil was with some black. So I've relined up my stencil, trying to be careful. There's that one there. Now that one is in the right place. Ooh. If I don't line it up exactly, then I will add some bits of doodling and things in. So I didn't mean to go over that circle actually, but never mind. There we go for that. So hopefully the circles are still, apart from that one, whereas that's gone in front of the circle, but never mind. Let's have a look. Was it that shape one? There. Like that. And a little tiny one here. And a little tiny one here. And I have that one there. And that makes me a lot happier. So where there is maybe, oh, I've got one there actually, I've just realised. But I'm going to go, I'm stopping where it's going into the circle. So if I've got any areas that I'm not keen on, I'm just going to add some little like stitchy zigzag. In fact, I'm just going to add stitchy zigzags to them all. And this is the thing, you can just, when you've got your products, you do what you want. You can add whatever bits and bobs you want onto things. If you want to add doodles onto them, you can. Well, I haven't done this one, have I? Let's give that a bit of a bit there. And then I've also got my white Posca pen, because what I do like is to then give things a bit of a highlight. So let's give, white seems to struggle more than black over watercolour, I have found. bit of a, that's still wet, I can feel it. So do as I say, not as I do. I'm always saying, oh, leave your products to dry thoroughly before you start adding on your pens and things, but I do have a tendency to still do it because it's just sheer impatience, I think. Get that flowing a bit more. So you can hear on these that, you know, the roughness of the paper, because it isn't a smooth paper at all. You know, you do hear the texture. I mean, I like the whole thing with the texture. You know, texture makes me happy on things, because I do like doing mixed media projects, so I love the texture of stuff. But it does mean that you do have to be sort of a little bit aware of what you're drawing onto with, and also don't put your hand in the paint you've just sort of put into the side. Because I keep like trying to re-pump the pen, and I've just got it by the side, and now I'm just leaning in it everywhere. I'm leaning in it on here as well. But it will wash off. I'm liking the added highlights that I think again they lift everything up. That one really is wet and is not wanting to be like all the others. And let's go on this one. And now I'm thinking I might add some little dotlets into some of my acrylic paint circles, just as a little bit of extra doodle. And this is the bit I love about art journaling, is that you can just then go to town where you want with little white dots in the blue dots. Just have fun and just, you know, play around. And this is how you get to know your supplies. It's how you get to, you know, work out what will work with what and what won't work with what, which is also quite important. But just having fun and layering it up, and, you know, I'm thinking that I want some black around some of these. And you don't have to have everything in straight. You can just like draw on. You don't have to make sure it's all perfectly straight. Don't need to use a ruler. In fact, I prefer not to, because sometimes when you use a ruler and then it goes wrong, it's worse than if you just do it by hand. At least if it is a bit wonky, you say, that is the look I was going for. Have I done all around all of them? And there, and there. Let's add a little bit of that on. Thinking, should I add a bit of splatter? Oh, why not could splatter some of the... You can't, you're not getting, probably, look, there's a real flash of gold on here. Now, I don't know, is it finished? Do I need to add a bit of splatter? Oh, let's add, I don't know, let's add a bit of splatter maybe with my black Posca pen, I think. Sometimes it just ties things together. You don't have to do splatters on everything. I am a bit of a splatter person, but again, it's just seeing what this paper's going to take, what I can put on top of other things. I like that. Sometimes if you've got, and you're thinking, oh, it's not quite all gelling together, then, you know, it can help to tie it together. Now let me just clean that off of there. I think I'm not going to do anything else on here today. Oh look, I'm making a right mess there. I made that worse than it needed to be, didn't I? Oh, I think I need to go with a bit of isopropyl on that, because that is damaged, like not damaged it, but it's stained it a bit. So here we go. Here is my finished abstract art journal page. Now I'm going to try and turn back to the one I did before and see how similar or different it is. Oh, it's very different actually. I thought I was going to do it quite similar, but that was the original one I did, which I think I still prefer a bit, but that, it's fun. I just like it. I just want it to be fun. It's giving me, it's meant to be an under the sea vibe, so hopefully it's giving an under the sea vibe with all the bubbles and stuff, and glimpses of gold in the colours. But it gives you an idea of the colours that you get in the Art Nouveau set, but also, you know, using them with lots of other products as well. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope if you haven't already subscribed, you do give me a little subscribe on the old subscribe button. I said subscribe many times in that sentence. And like the video if you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much. I'll link to Denise's channel so you can have a look at her abstract work. Her abstract work is very different to my abstract work, I have to say. Mine is very much more controlled than her. She really knows how to be abstract. Now, my aim is to try and get a little bit more freer like she does. And I will link the products and things of where I got most, and if I know where I got them, I'll link them in the description box, and I'll put a link to where I purchased them from. So thank you ever so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.